Uh, Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. So today we are going to talk about the most talked top coin in the market, the father of all the alts, the biggest alt in the market, Ethereum. So basically, when we start talking about Ethereum, it is very important that to establish a history before we get into technicals. So most of the people right now looking at their Binance app or the Binance web login, and they can only extract data up to I think August of 2017. It is very important that we go beyond it right now because the price action is far more severe than what we have seen in more than a year now. So what we have today is that we will show you two different charts: Ethereum USD Kraken and Ethereum against Bitcoin on Bitfinex. We'll start with first of all Ethereum and USD. Current price right now is 170, and the low we recently saw was around $166. Uh, if you look at it from the channel perspective, from the RSI perspective, moving averages perspective, from any other perspective, all we see is a massive selling pressure, downward sloping. The price resisted to even react to strongly to a $250 support there. You can see a wick there. Yeah, it made a wick up to I think $250. The bounce didn't sustain. Tried once again, didn't sustain, and here you go, the big red candle, and subsequently once again, even at the $200 level, nothing much happened. On Sunday we saw some bounce, but it didn't sustain. So what are we going to do now, and how are we going to determine that this is the right price, or what is going to be the right price where we can say that it's safe to long, or we can expect some bounce. For that, we might need to go slightly beyond 1 year data. So right now, this okay, yeah, that we're looking at this area, really, it's wishful now for quite some time. Now what we are looking at is a very simple picture. Okay, so I'll just draw something here. So Ethereum at one point in time formed a pretty nice looking ascending triangle. As you can see, it started when from the first touch point, it was around mid of June, and it actually broke out of the triangle somewhere around November. Now this line, remained a pretty good support. It was almost retested twice before obviously making the all-time high. Once again, the area of consolidation was exactly there. I mean, yeah, I mean, it dipped slightly below that, but the significance was pretty much higher. Once this 400 line broke down, we can see that the selling was pretty intense. Now, another important thing which we should look at it right now was there were few horizontal supports on the way. The first one was around this 250 area, which we just talked about. Didn't honor much. The bounce was barely 20%. The another area of around $200, as you can see, nothing much happened. Now what we are looking at is the third area, and in my opinion, for long-term hopes to survive in Ethereum, this area is of far more significance. And if we actually close on a weekly below that, this can actually be a long-term trouble for Ethereum from price action perspective. We are not talking about fundamentals right now, purely on technical basis. So this area, the first line which I have placed right now, it's slightly around, yeah, the 149 area, and almost 158. Yeah, so this is the area between 149 to 160, is the area where we actually believe that the price might be bouncing off far, with a greater intensity than we have seen in the past. And to be honest, right now we are expecting an action somewhere, something like this area. which happened mid of July last year. Similarly, something which we have seen here somewhere around end of March and early April. So the point here is that this area we have to actually preempt this area. We cannot wait and watch, and we do not expect any price below this 160 155 mark to sustain for long. Uh, well, this is also possible that the price might bounce off this area, goes to a certain level, 40%, 50%, maybe even 100% up, and then goes back again. Has happened before, can happen again. But right now, for ourselves, for our corporate account, and for our clients account, we have already started accumulating Ethereum. My traders just confirmed to me that we have bought some Ethereum today between 167 and 169, and we have limits placed between 156 and 164. So what we are looking right now from the upside perspective. So the first, so let's start with the assumption, obviously, that it will bounce back. Once the bounce back comes, what do we expect? The shorts are on the pretty high side, so we expect a lot of people to get, the losses will be cut for a lot of people who opened their shorts anything after 180 or even 190 for Ethereum. So obviously they'll have to cut their losses, and then a lot of people will also come into to book their profits who have been short on Ethereum since maybe 350 or $400. So obviously the reaction would be a domino effect on the prices. Once again, we are not saying that this will sustain for long term. We are just saying that this can produce a genuine bounce of maybe 60 to 80% or 40 to 50%. So keeping that in mind, I think the first area to look after the bounce would definitely be $200, but I don't see it becoming a resistance if it happens. The next important area we should all be looking at is $250, 250 to 240 to $250, which, I mean, a bounce from 150 to that of an area is like around 60%. So that's a pretty significant move it can possibly make. Now, as we always mention, that this market is not a one-dimensional market like the other markets where you have a dollar on one end or any other currency and the asset on the other hand. Actually, this market is a three-dimensional market where you have to look at the performance of a coin against Bitcoin as well. So we will now look at the Ether BTC chart. The daily RSI, I think, is around 13. And once again, we are heading towards a very, very strong horizontal support. Yeah, as you can see that this area, I will just put a line here. Here you go. So this, you can see that the this was kind of a breakout again mid of March last year. Many exchanges of today didn't even exist back then, so you'll have to go for an older exchange. And then, yeah, so this area. Okay, so we expect Ether Bitcoin to bounce up from this area as well, which is like, I think, 10% from here, and which corresponds with our view on ETH USD as well, which is 10% from here as well. We have to obviously align ourselves with what BTC and BTC USD pair is going to do. But as we have maintained in the past as well, I mean, just ignore the wedge. We are not sure if it's a wedge or a triangle. The time will tell only. So we have been talking about it in the past as well. This is an exact replica of what we have been talking about. The price has been resisted by multiple layers of resistance on these particular areas, like a 200 days moving average or the resistance trend line or whatever. But once again, BTC has maintained its dominance in the market. Right now, it's highest for the year at around 58%. It's not breaking down the yearly low of like 56, 5700, and it's once again stable. So if BTC sustains the current position or does a slight reversal on the upside, ETH BTC is nearing a pretty good bouncing position. ETH USD, as we discussed, is nearing a pretty good position. So we don't see a reason why we should not be buying here. why we should not be consolidating. We are not talking about stop loss right now for a reason, because there can be a possible spike uh, which can take price lower than 150, but we don't want the stops to get hit like that. So we will wait for a closing below 145 maybe to actually hit the stop losses, because then the price action can take ether to maybe 190 sorry 90 to 100 to 110 levels. So guys, thank you for listening to us, and you can follow us on our TradingView page, and you can also follow us on our Twitter handle, and you can find our weekly reports on our website as well, and as well as Twitter. So thank you once again, and happy trading.